Hey, how's it going? Today we're going to take a look at what led to the cancellation of the Cartoon Network series, Chowder. Today's video was requested by Cool Breeze. So let's begin. Cue the intro. Chowder was created by Charles Harvey Greenblatt. Greenblatt has been into animation even at an early age. He explained that when he was younger, he would watch every cartoon that appeared on television, even the cartoons he didn't like. He would even learn the names of the studios that developed the cartoons and the name of the directors. Greenblatt also loved comics and even created his very own comic strip throughout middle school and high school that he worked on every single day. Greenblatt would attend the University of Texas in Austin, where he majored in advertising. Later on, he would land a job working as an advertising art director in New York City, while also sending out the comic strips he worked on in his spare time to publishers in hopes that someone would pick it up for syndication. Greenblatt would work for the advertising company for the next 4 years, but would soon become bored of the job. Greenblatt states that he gained a lot of pitching and production experience, but he didn't want to spend the rest of his life fighting over how many frames a commercial were spent showing toothpaste on the screen. More than likely you've seen a commercial made by him before. If you've seen the Chef Boyardee commercial with Chef Jr., this is made by C.S. Greenblatt.
Introducing Chef Jr. pastas. Great taste, fun shapes, straight from Chef Jr.'s kitchen.
Boyardee.
After answering a wanted ad in the animation magazines in Nickelodeon, Greenblatt would land his first job working on a new TV show created by Steven Hillenburg.
So how did you break in?
Man, it's like one of those really weird dream stories where I literally picked up Animation Magazine, and in the first page was an ad for Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
And it said, "Hey, are you creative? Do you want to come work for us? Send in a portfolio." And so I thought, yeah, sure. Well, I'd like to do that. So I threw together, a scan. I took photocopies of stuff from a sketchbook and some of my cartoon strips that I had done, mailed them in. Didn't hear anything for a few months, and then got contacted about doing a little freelance character design, which, I thought, oh, cool, I don't know what that means, but I'm happy to do it.
Yeah.
It was for a show that I don't think ever went anywhere, but I was still excited. I got paid like $75 or something. It was really cool.
Yeah.
But what happened, what it did do was I came out one time actually doing a commercial shoot and met with a person who was in development at the time, Robert Skull. He used to work on Rocco.
Yeah.
And I was a huge Rocco fan. And I showed him a couple of ideas, and I think he was very kind to me, and I don't think they were quite ready yet, but he at least saw that there was talent there. I'm assuming. And said, hey, I like your comics and I like this stuff, and so can I send it along to a friend of mine who's got a show in development? And that happened to be Steve Hillenburg. They sent my comics to him, and Steve and Derek Dryman met with me and said, hey, if the show gets greenlit, you can come and do storyboard revisions. And so when I got greenlit, I quit New York, moved out here, and started working on that.
Wow.
So really it was my comic strips that kind of got me my foot in the door.
Yeah.
Greenblatt was a writer, board revisionist, and a storyboard artist for the first 4 seasons of SpongeBob. He even voiced this guy Carl in the episode Selling Out.
What have you done with the real Squidward?
The less you know, Eugene, the better.
In his spare time when he wasn't working on SpongeBob, Greenblatt would sketch different concept characters for his very own animation series. He finally settled with a story that revolves around a master chef who teaches his young apprentice how to cook. The original concept that he wanted to do was a show that incorporated something magical and something that could only be done in animation. The idea for the show was inspired by The Sorcerer's Apprentice and The Sword and the Stone. Greenblatt explained that he liked the idea of a young kid learning from a goofy old man like the ones you see in these movies, so he tried to think of a relationship that was sort sort of similar to these movies. But he didn't want to do magic because of the whole Harry Potter thing, so he thought that cooking would be perfect because it's something that everyone could do, and that cooking feels magical in its own way, since you can throw a bunch of ingredients together and you can get something entirely different. After working for SpongeBob, Greenblatt would soon land a job as a writer and storyboard artist for the series The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy on Cartoon Network.
I'm a dirty boy. I'm a dirty boy.
Billy, you've just evolved a notch up the idiot ladder.
While working on Billy and Mandy, Vice President at the time Sam Register began a shorts program. This program allowed people to pitch ideas for shorts that could potentially become series. Shows like the original Ben 10 and the original Teen Titans are some of the shows that came from this program. Greenblatt had a chance to pitch his ideas since Sam Register knew him from working on Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. A couple of years later, Chowder was approved for productions.
I worked on a couple of ideas, but nothing that we really put in front of anybody. Until I was working on Billy and Mandy at Cartoon Network, and then I had the idea for Chowder. And it was right around the time when they started their shorts program under Sam Register.
Yeah.
And, they knew me and liked me from Billy and Mandy, and so when I walked in with Chowder and said, hey, I really would like to do this, they were, really open to it.
Yeah.
I mean, their first instinct was, it looks young, but we know you and we know what you do, so we'll trust you. And they kind of just said, yeah, let's do a pilot.
And you did the short, and it went on from there.
Right.
Marzipan City, home to legendary Chef Mung Daal. That's me! All the ladies think I'm a sweet treat. And this is my culinary castle. From here, I run a catering business with the help of my wife, Truffles.
Honey, we got an order!
My faithful employee, Shnitzel.
Rado.
And my young and treasured apprentice, Chowder.
Hi.
Chowder has the honor of helping me prepare my rare and exotic dishes, like deviled eggs, liver blabber, and frothy apple crumble pumpkin.
I don't want to make the recipe anymore!
You see, Chowder has big dreams of becoming a great chef, but whenever he's in the mix, Chowder! It's a potential recipe for disaster. Schnitzel the mop.
Rado.
Chowder premieres November 2nd at 7:30, only on Cartoon Network.
Chowder premiered on November 2nd in 2007. The series revolves around the eager and gluttonous Chowder, who's voiced by Nicky Jones.
Pepper spray? That sounds delicious! I was wrong! I was horribly wrong!
Chowder is an aspiring young cook who works for a catering company in Marzipan City, owned by Chef Mung Daal, who's voiced by Dwight Schultz.
Get that camera out of my face!
Chowder is shown as a carefree, lighthearted person who usually lands himself into crazy situations, which usually happens because of his hunger and carelessness.
Here we go.
Huh? Rado.
Oh, Shnitzel!
Mung Daal and his wife Truffles, who's voiced by Tara Strong, are also shown to be Chowder's caregivers. They, along with Shnitzel, who's voiced by John DiMaggio, tried to help Chowder to achieve his dream of becoming a great chef.
Yo, my name's Shnitzel. All right.
Nah, doesn't work for us.
Whoa.
Other supporting characters of this series is a fruit salesman by the name of Gazpacho, who's voiced by Dana White. Some of you might know him as Master Shade from Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
You are the gayest monster since gay came to Gaytown.
Mung Daal's rival Endive and her apprentice Panini, voiced by Mindy Sterling and Liliana Mummy.
Oh, hi, Chowder. I'm not your boyfriend!
The series had 3 seasons with a total of 49 episodes and 93 segments. Chowder was very well received. The wide variety of mixed media used really made the series stood out. The puppeteering and stop motion animation was done by a company named Screen Novelties. The mixed media in Chowder was inspired by the show Sesame Street. He explained that he really loved the variety that was in that show. He also wanted to show the viewers that animation can be created in different ways other than traditional 2D animation.
How do you go about using stuff like that, and what are your opinions on how to use it? I mean, I don't know. Here's why I did it. Again, when I did that show, nobody was doing that. I wasn't seeing anything. And, I would like to take credit and say, like, nobody was doing that bullshit before we did it. Like Flapjack saw what we were doing and they did it too. And that's cool. And I'm glad that we influenced, them and Gumball and all those people. But it really came out of me loving Sesame Street a lot. Mm-hmm. And I loved the variety of animation on Sesame Street. You would see live action and 2D animation and stop motion and all kinds of amazing stuff. And I just thought, let me take some of that just craziness and this love of animation in all formats and do it. And so, we were able to work with this company, Screen Novelties, who does a lot of 2D stop motion animation. We were able to budget a little bit of money for every episode to have them do some shots. And that's kind of how we worked in the puppet stuff and the stop motion and the food wipes and all those things. It was really exciting for me to kind of be able to sort of make it a love letter. That's really what Chowder was. It was a love letter to all the animation that I grew up on. And so it was nice to, that it got people excited, I think, about thinking more than just 2D animation in kids stuff. And since then, I've seen it in a lot of shows and that's awesome. You see more people using mixed media, you see all kinds of things and that's fun. I think it should be, it just opens up the creativity of what people can do.
Another unique design feature of the show is the pattern used on the characters' clothing. These patterns are developed as a full screen image and then sent to the production house where the characters are modified to fit the patterning on their clothing. The show mostly had a positive response. Chowder was one of those shows that not only appealed to kids but also adults as well. The brightly colored environment and the unusual characters quickly turned Chowder into one of Cartoon Network's most watched shows at the time. Despite the fact that Chowder was doing well in ratings and even won the Emmy in Outstanding Individual Achievement in Animation, it was still cancelled. In the Tumblr post, someone asked Greenblatt why was Chowder cancelled. Greenblatt replied that the show ended because there were new people in charge of Cartoon Network and they wanted all new programs. Cartoon Network wanted to include more live-action TV shows at the time, such as Destroy, Build, Destroy, and Do What Will Happen.
Hi, I'm Andrew WK, and on today's episode of Destroy, Build, Destroy!
Ugh, that's terrible.
The third and final season of Chowder aired from October 29, 2009 to August 7, 2010. At the time of this recording, Greenblatt is creating a series for HBO Max called Jellystone, and at the time of me making this, it hasn't premiered yet. Nicky Jones has since left the industry and doesn't seem to have any sort of social media presence at all. The only thing I could find was an author by the same name on Amazon, but it just turned out to be some British lady. Dwight Schultz, the voice of Mung Daal last role, was voicing the Scarecrow in the Scooby-Doo movie Happy Halloween, Scooby-Doo. Tara Scrone, the voice of Truffles, Everything. John DiMaggio, the voice of Shnitzel, is starring in a new series called Alpha Beta. Dana Snyder, the voice of Gazpacho, is starring in the upcoming Disney series The Ghost and Molly McGee. Minnie Sterling, the voice of Endive, is starring in the upcoming drama film Bobcat Moretti. And Liliana Mummy, the voice of Panini, is voicing Lenny Loud from the Loud House.
You don't know what you're missing.
If you aren't in the kitchen.